Welcome to Forest Hills. My name is Trey Gnewikow. We're out here on hole 8 today. I'm the assistant head of golf. That results in one of my kind of tasks that I do, especially for outings, is I mark our golf course. So I got my little handle holder with my paint can here. This is white paint, which is definitive of out of bounds, and ground and repair. So ground and repair is white paint in the course. Obviously, if you're within the course, maybe around a tree that just broke or something like that, that's just ground and repair. You get free relief for that. But the white line for out of bounds is going to be like our boundary line. So if you look off to my left here, off to your right, you'll see the railroad. Obviously, we at Forest Hills do not own the railroad, so we can't play golf balls off the railroad. You can't play golf balls off the railroad, so that's all deemed as out of bounds. So if you hit a ball out of bounds, one of the biggest penalties, if not the biggest penalty in golf, you have to re-hit your shots. You have to drop from where you hit from previous and re-hit if you ever hit it out of bounds. Now, some areas obviously you don't want to walk into residential life. You legally can't walk up on the railroad. So if you hit your ball up there, you kind of just got to leave it. You don't even get to look for it. But you have to go back and play your shots. If you hit your drive out of bounds on hole 8, as we kind of got a shorter par 4 for those of you who have played here and know it. If you haven't played here and know it, come out, play. You'll see number 8 exactly where we're standing right here, and you'll know exactly what I mean. When you see a 280 par 4 that you think you can drive, and you attempt to drive it, you might snap hook it a little bit left, and then that out of bounds comes into play. So we're out here spraying today because we have the MVC women's or the ladies golf outing this next coming week. So they're coming up next week Wednesday. They have a 1 p.m. shotgun out here. They're going to be playing just the front nine. So we got to spray the front nine, get it all tournament official for them. That way it's easy on the ladies. One of the hardest things with OB or red stakes is in order to see if your ball's out of bounds, you have to look stake to stake. Well, this out of bounds string's about 500 yards. It goes all the way from our range all the way to Bluffside. So we can't put a stake every 10 yards. That would be a ridiculous amount of stakes. So what we do is we just spray the line. And the sprayed line is always kind of the trump card. Saves the girls tons of hassle, saves any tournament players tons of hassle, trying to get down to the stake and look stake to see if they're in play or not. So we just spray that line. If you're left of the line out of bounds on this way, then you're out of bounds. You don't get to play it. Whereas you'd have to go back and drop. So it's always good to hit a provisional if you think you're out of bounds. It's basically a free re-hit that you could then use as your penalty ball if your first one's out of bounds. But we're just spraying this line right here. We kind of started all the way from the tee box up to this point. I'm going to step back to where I just dropped off. I'm going to kind of show you how I spray the line, and then you'll go from there. As we spray this line, golfers to note, a kind of rule, which is a fun one, a little bit different, is with white stake or with out of bounds, if you have any portion of the ball touching in play, you're in play. So if you have any portion of the ball, even if it's on the line and there's one dimple that's in play, your ball's in play, you're all good to go. Now, if this were red paint and we were spraying, let's say, around a pond or a creek, the red paint's the total opposite. If you have one dimple touching red paint, even though your ball would be what seems to be normal rough, you're technically in the red hazard, which nowadays you can practice swing in, you can move loose impediments, that sort of thing, so it's not super penalizing to be in that. But in the old days, you used to not be able to swing. I say the old days, but it was only a year ago. You used to not be able to practice swinging in the red or not move loose impediments or nothing like that. So now it's not too much of a big deal, but just a little fun, maybe a quiz question you can ask your parents for the high school kids watching this, if they even know that rule. So if any part of your ball's touching in play from the whites, you're in play. If any part of your ball's touching the red or the hazard, you're automatically in the hazard. So it's just kind of a fun, different thing to note. It could go into play when you try to take an unplayable, because you can't take an unplayable in the red hazard. So you'd see some rules there where that's fun, but just kind of a fun little golf trivia. So I'm going to get back to my spot and paint my white line up right here, and just continue it there. So I have a faint line that I made the first time of the season. As we get up there and we get it up, and there we go. So I would do this from all the way down at hole 8 tee box assigned to the road, all the way down to the range. That way all the ladies know, any tournament goers. We're going to be hosting out here at Forest Hills. We're very happy to host 3 different middle school events. So we have a very active youth tournament circuit as far as high school and middle school golf when it comes out here. The MVC conference just got going a couple weeks ago. I know the good ladies are excited to get going and get playing and stuff, and we're excited to have them out here next week. So we want to make sure we're tournament ready. It's easy for them. The coaches don't have to be driving around trying to make golf rulings, and the players don't have to be confused out here. So that's our goal of marking this course, is that we just make it as easy as possible on the ladies and the coaches. So we just kind of let the players play and let the coaches coach, and that kind of lets them do the whole thing. Kind of takes the rules out of it when we can mark our course good and get it all set up. But thanks for joining us on kind of a little rules special today. As you can see, we're out on hole 8. The course is beautiful. The weather's awesome. Come out and play, especially if you haven't played with us this season. Come out and join us. We love having new people, new guests, show you around. Maybe you could find your ball on the left side of this plains, or hopefully right in the cart path here where you got a good shot for eagle. Thanks for joining us here at Forest Hills.